Hello there, friends. It's your favorite neighborhood nerd, Simone, and I'm here today to talk about my current journaling struggles. Um, but I don't really know where to start. So, I think what I'm going to do is show you what I started 2025 with, where I am right now, and how that change came about. And then we can look at all the old journals that I pulled out because I've been doing this for a long time. And then maybe I can come to a good understanding of where I'm going to next. So 2025, I wanted to try a bigger size creative journal. And I landed on the Take a Note A5 size planner that I was going to use for my creative journaling practice. In 2024, it felt like I was growing out of this Traveler's Notebook standard size journal. And so I came to the conclusion that it would be best if I moved to a bigger size. I was really craving more space. So I went here. And it went okay, mostly. Let's just flip through this a little. So I started using this right at the end of December 2024. The 30th is here, so then the 31st would be this, and then this is the 1st of January of 2025. And I totally was not able to start right away. I had a lot of struggle. I'm not sure if it just me having to figure out how I'm going to journal in this, but the beginning was a little rough. And there's still quite often a little space in between these spaces here. Let me make sure that this is all in. I didn't finish this spread. There is supposed to be a sketch of this patch. And then in February, I did an experiment. Let me check if that is actually true. Yes, I did an inky challenge. I did not know that I needed my book here, but I decided to ink a pen with a different ink sample every day. 28 inks, 28 pens, 28 journal entries. And these journal entries were in here. Because I was focusing so much on this, I completely fell off, basically, journaling in my creative journal. So one thing I definitely realize is that when I am not able, or when I'm doing something else that is taking up a lot of time, I'm not able to journal. And it took me until the second week of March to actually get back into this. And then I took a little bit of a different approach. Instead of, basically what I did here was create these journaling spreads as I had created them in here. Where the vertical space for each day is so narrow that I wouldn't be able to journal in here. So I would make this differently, like so. And I did start out my journal in a very similar way. And that was kind of a lot. It would mean that I would need to fill 2 of these spreads every week, because this planner is goes, well, there is space right here where I can show you. So 1 week is on 2 spreads. So we have a column right here that has a weekly horizontal layout, and then we have each day is a column that takes up half a vertical page. So obviously for 7 days you will need 4 pages. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That means that if I were to continue creating these types of spreads, I would need to make 2 every week, and that was a lot. Now in March, I decided to go with a little bit of a different approach. I thought, what if I just logged part of my day, and if I had something else to journal about, I would write it down here. And that kind of went a lot better. And it felt very doable to fill this part every day. And even if I wasn't filling it every day, there would be something that I could put into every daily spread. And then sometimes, obviously, oh, look at this. Sometimes, obviously, this would still work out to be different, but going with the approach of, I'm just going to log my day or one snippet of day into this space was more approachable. And then I was able to keep up quite much better. I also started to use more of my fountain pen inks and pens in here. In the beginning, it was all black, as you can see. And last year, there's gray and black, but there's a lot of black basically. And last year I was all black here. There's only watercolor and black fountain pen. And then sometimes, well, not all the time, but most of the time it was black ink. To me, it felt like there was so much color in here that the black would take, colored fountain penning would take away from this. But actually, in my opinion, it did not at all. When I started using fountain pen inks in here, it felt really, really like it was supposed to be that way. So obviously, because I didn't journal every single day, there would be gaps, and I wasn't really sure how to deal with those open spaces. So I would put sticky notes and just put the things that I saw or that I did that were remarkable, put them here. But that would mean that I would have sticky notes if I wasn't able to journal that specific day. Often the specific day that I didn't journal was the weekends, because I had at that point then started to implement something that felt very insightful into the way that I functioned. When I did that challenge in February, I would do these inking of the pens and the ink splot and writing here. I would do that before I left for work. So I managed to get my daily morning routine so that I had 10 minutes every morning where I was able to do this. And it set my day up for such a good, I just felt so much better having done something for myself before I even left for work. And so I would do this on the weekdays. Before I went to work, I would sit down and journal a little bit. And that would be these entries. And after I had started that specific 10-minute a day practice, journaling didn't feel as loaded as it had before. And as you can see, I've been really consistent, or able to be consistent more after that 10-minute implementation. Now there's still space. But not as much. The problem that I had with this, though, was that the ink, it would always be a gamble if the fountain pen that I used for that specific day was going to bleed through or not. And right now, it's not really that noticeable, but actually, it was something that stressed me quite a bit. And so eventually I decided to cut my losses. And because I also struggled with filling the pages, I decided to move into a standard size Traveler's Notebook, weekly notebook, for the second half of 2025, or actually at the end of June. So that would mean only 5 months of 2025 are left. So I cut this book down. I'm calling it completed, even though, as you saw, there's still quite a bit of open space and the opportunity to fill this in. But in my everyday life, I don't really have that space or time right now. And I'm also feeling like this is even though it bugged me at the time that I wasn't able to fill the pages, this is a true document of how busy, how my time was spent elsewhere when I was journaling in here. So I'm not really that concerned about the empty pages as I was when I was in that moment. I still like flipping through here and seeing all the memories that I was able to document, which is when I was in the moment, I saw the blank pages more than the filled pages. And right now, I'm able to see the filled pages more than the blank pages, which is something that I think is important to remember. Because it, might be a different kind of approach in the future then. So I noticed how much anxiety was involved in these Sanzen. The paper that is in here is Sanzen 68 GSM Tomoe River paper. It's not the thin paper. Let me see if I can. So let's see if you can hear this. This paper is quite thick. This is regular Sanzen paper. This is quite thin. So it is thicker. And it was also produced for 2025. So sometime in 2024. This is 2024. And this was produced sometime in 2023. And the formulation of Sanzen paper that was produced or before 2024 is somehow different than the one that was made into planners in 2024. I don't know how and what the reason is for that. I don't know how much the paper weight is influencing the experience as well, but this was causing great anxiety when I was using my colored fountain pens in here. And I started a reading journal in a regular sized traveler's notebook insert that is lined with the MD paper. And this was just such a game changer, or I started to realize how much I like not giving a thought to whether the ink will bleed through the paper or not. And I also really enjoyed how my fountain pens felt on this paper. And so I thought, you know what, if I am so unhappy with the paper here, and I'm also struggling to keep up, it's a somewhat of a chore to work in this, then why don't I switch back into a traveler's notebook? So that's what I did. I made a journal, this one here, that I thought was very similar in layout to this, where I thought, you know what, if I have something to write about, I will do a vertical spread like this. So this represents one day like so. However, it didn't work the same way. I completely fell off that idea of just going and having these types of entries in here. So even though it is a vertical, it's more vertical than horizontal. It's not square, it's rectangular, it's a narrow rectangle. It's still not as narrow, and it just didn't translate as well as I had thought into this journal. And I noticed how little I was actually journaling. So in July, this is the 1st of July, I journaled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times. That's not a lot for 31 days. So, and I was missing these, the interaction of the different colors and stickers. So here I have 4 days on a page, on a spread. Here I have maybe 2 days on a spread. And that just doesn't work the same way as having 4 days where there's different ink colors, there's different headlines and titles, there is stickers that need to interact with each other. And it just wasn't the same way. That it didn't feel the same way. I was craving something else. So I decided, I watched Maike from Cat Collage Club's video, and she got me to the idea that I could use an undated weekly insert for my weekly spreads. And so the week that I left to go on vacation, I started this, which I thought I'd hoped to be able to fill this in more than I was able to do. But it's lovely, right? However, it feels extremely crammed. And now that it's so full and I have a lot of time on my hand, I'm craving, first of all, I didn't think that I was craving the white paper as much as I do. I have not sketched in here at all. The only thing I'm doing is making titles with my fountain pens and then coloring in the empty space. I, there is a little bit of sketching going on in here sometimes. Not as much in here at all. Now, this is only 3 weeks in. 1, 2, 3. No, it's 4 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm in the middle of the 5th week of trying this out. Now that I'm flipping through it, I'm like, yeah, I like this. This is not bad. But then what else would I use? And I have to really say, even though I like the way my fountain pens feel on here, I am missing white paper. So now I'm wondering, weird. My thought was that once the Take a Note pre-orders aren't up yet, and I think they're coming at the end of September 2025, which means I still have quite a bit of trial and error in this one. And I could then make this another evaluation point where I'm thinking, is this working better now? Do I need a fallback idea? The Take a Note, I had found that if I didn't order the A5 2025 planner, I was not going to be able to purchase that at a later date. So if I am thinking of maybe switching to the A5 2026 planner again, I will need to place a pre-order, even though I don't 100% know if I'm going to use it. I have seen paper tests for the 52 GSM papers, and even though it's not perfect, which the paper wasn't perfect before. There was a lot of ghosting and ink. This is quite a light ink too. It's not necessarily true that this paper is so much better than the 2026 paper. So I am definitely wondering, or what I've seen was that it looked like it was better, and it might be enough for me to be able to put my fountain pens into here without having to overthink or being anxious. But the other thing that I'm noticing when I'm flipping through specifically these Sterling ink vertical weeklies is that I really enjoy the white paper. And it might not necessarily be this that I'm using for my creative journal, but it might be this that I want. So that would mean I would need to pre-order 2 different planners, and I would have to discard of 2 different planners if I decide which way I want to go. That sucks. Okay. I will write this down in my planner so that I can find and figure out what I'm going to do. But that is all that I wanted to talk about right now, and I am wondering if maybe looking back at where I came from would be something. Maybe we can just dip in really quickly, because there's how many notebooks worth? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 notebooks worth of creative journaling in a traveler's notebook insert. Oh, I also do have the Tomoe River Baumkuchen weekly insert. That could also be an option. It is cream paper Tomoe River paper, however, and I have no idea whether it is the old or the new paper, so that would be a big gamble as well. Let me grab that and show you. This is the GU planner. It is lightweight paper weekly. It says copyright, but I don't know when it was produced. This is only available through Baumkuchen. And the weekly layout looks like this. There is suggestions that go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then there's a bigger space for other things. Now, this is definitely thinner paper. But what I thought was that if I were challenging myself with this layout, this could be a space where I could put a sketch. Now this is not, so, oh, there is one page in here that is not printed on a weekly layout. So I could do an ink test on here before. If this is going to be considered, I could do this. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is for a full year of weekly planning or journaling. So if I were to use this, I would be able to put a whole year into this book. That could be an option as well. I think this already was an option last year. So let's quickly check. In 2018, I started this. And this is what these pages look like then. It was kind of a logging. More than a journaling practice, but I'm calling this still creative journaling. And what I did was I often picked stickers and maybe a sticker sheet and put it down here. And that was what I was using for decoration. I loved this when I made this, and I still love this spread to this day. This is just so fabulous. I love how this worked. And here is where I had my knee injury. January 14th, 2018. That was an experiment where it worked. And then after I worked like this, I started to experiment. I'm just flipping through different type of logging on here. So I repeat different, when something works, then I often repeat it, obviously. There wasn't much going on, so I just put one thing for every day. And that was a paper test here. So I was able to fill all this in weekly in 2018. And then I quickly fell off that same insert in the second half of the year. So this is July. I didn't do anything here, so I just made a collage, a quote, another kind of collage, core values, another quote, and then I put one planner plans discussion here, One more. And then I was able to do this. And then really quickly, I completely fell off. Let's see where that happens. Here, this is the last entry. And then I just redated these dates and started in 2021. Another logging experiment. The days are fuller, much fuller than here. And I loved using these planner stickers for these logging events. It was so much fun. And now I'm basically not using any planner stickers at all. Here I probably pulled out another sticker sheet and tried to use a lot of these. So yes, similar but different. And that's it. And then this was 2021. Then we go in with 2022. Similar. Still the very similar style. I think I used a lot of these Sarasa. Obviously I didn't use them here. Wow. A different type of layout. So I'm still sticking very much trying to go with this vertical layout, but then I'm breaking out sometimes. And this is where I seem to stop going very like this, very narrow vertical style, and break out of the box and expectation and go over multiple lines, multiple places. Then I'm going back to where I was. Same thing. So I'm trying other things, and then here, oh, I made this printable here, and then I used it. Back to the other thing. Back again. Oh, rainbow again. So I tried to also match the sticker colors. And then here I try to sketch more sketching. More sketching. Oh my God, I forgot to use my microphone. Fuck. I hope this was audible. I guess I wanted to do more sketching here, and then here even more. I think I recreated that from, was that here? No, from here. Somewhere here. Here. This is the other half of 2022. And this is where it really goes completely out of bounds. Doing something completely different, trying to sketch a lot more. San Francisco Pen Show, Bonichi, trying to use date stickers here. And I guess I fell off that week. guess I wasn't able to put anything in here, and then I was back on track. Oh, I like this one. So that was 2022. Then we get to 2023. Oh, that was July. So I guess this is the first part of that. Now that I'm looking at this, I think maybe I just need to keep going in this because it's just so much, such a tradition. Oh, I like how this worked. This is also really lovely. I like this a lot. This was fun. There's fountain pens. And I think in June I tried to journal with this, all of my currently inked pens for that week. Then here is the second half, and let's see if that went all the way through. So July, like how this turned out. It's loud, but like that as well. This is cool. Try to sketch more. San Francisco Pen Show 2023. And then I fell off journaling because I was doing 30 inks, 30 days. Again, it's just how that life went at that time. And then we slowly ease back into October. Still not filled all the way. This here, and there's another empty space. Oftentimes I like to try and be a little bit more like Courtney from Little Raven Ink. I always feel like this is completely misplaced in my journals, but I always try at least once in my journals. And then I guess there's that. All right, done. That was 2023, and then we get to 2024. I did a gratitude journal for a while. January, February, March, April, and then I fell off, and so I cut those out and put them in here. And then this is the 1st January, I really like the crinkly bit here. Oh, I loved this spread. I think I did another 30 inks challenge-ish, and so I just put this in here because I started to fall behind. This is really cool too. Wasn't able to journal, so I just put in the 2 pages from my planner for these 2 weeks. And then this is the last second half of 2024. I'm really, this did not help because I've been using this so long, for such a long time. Maybe I just need to stick it out and not get the taken out. But I liked that I had so much space in there. Nibtober at Atlas Stationers. And I did 30 inks, 31 inks, 31 pens, 31 letters. And that's where I fell off, I guess. Still haven't used the sticker sheet. I need to harvest all the stickers from my notebooks and just take them out or stick them in at the space where I thought I was going to use them. So a lot of stuff that is empty. So 11, then this week I journaled. I did not. A little bit of journaling. And that's it. Yeah, I feel like now that I've looked through all of these, this is definitely nice. I might even go back to using black pen only, because this is very loud. But also I really like this. So I will keep you posted on what I decide. It was really good talking about this, flipping through these things. I hope that the audio was okay. If not, I will have to do a voiceover. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Until next time, bye.